welcome to Voices of Vicenza. Randy, Maddie, and Jada here today. We're going to talk to you about all kinds of cool stuff about traveling. So a few community members told us some really interesting places they wanted to visit today, and check them out.
Oh my gosh. Favorite place I've been or I want to go. I would say Quito, Ecuador.
The Vatican City, I really liked going there.
I really liked Sicily. I appreciated the volcano and everything that was there. I liked the beach towns that they had, and they made some good drinks there. It was pretty nice. Some place I want to go is Sweden. I hear that it's really nice there.
Nepal, that's my favorite country. Yeah.
There's this coastal city called Rimini. You know, it has an incredible beach strip and a bunch of hotels littered there. A lot of touristy stuff to walk through, a lot of food to eat, stuff to buy. It's pretty fun. I'd recommend it to anybody who just wants a way to spend their 4-day.
Country I would like to go to is Argentina and Chile, which I'm going to in November. That's kind of on my bucket list. And favorite country I've been to, favorite town, Tromsø, Norway. It is so incredibly beautiful, and it was a great experience because my son and I went together and we saw the Northern Lights.
Wow, those are some really cool places.
All over the place, all over the world.
Yeah. Jada, I know you weren't there when we talked to some of these people, but this last lady telling us about, seeing the Northern Lights or whatever,
right.
She's been to 68 countries.
I know.
That was so cool. Have you guys counted how many you guys have been to yet?
No, I can't tell you. I've probably been to 10 so far.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, your family probably has not been to 10. None of my family's been to 2, maybe, No.
The furthest they've been is over here, and I'm proud of that. I'm glad they got to make it over here and see Italy.
Have some of your family visited you here so far?
Yes, and they loved it. They enjoyed it.
What do they like the best?
I think they like the food the best.
Yeah.
Trying pasta for the first time. And I was
like real pasta. No more Olive Garden.
Yes, no.
Yeah.
Definitely no more Olive Garden, all those fats and greasy stuff together. So, it was good times.
Cool. Wow. And Maddie, so do you know how many countries
I don't know. I haven't quantified it. I think maybe to 15 to 20.
Wow. Okay.
But
That's pretty good for 21-year-olds.
Yeah, I've only ever been to Europe and the U.S. So I really want to hit all the other continents. By the end of my life, I have to be at all the continents.
Well, you're ahead of me. I've been to more than that, but based on my age, you're doing pretty good. So I've been to 64, but that lady, we didn't.
She got you beat.
She put me in my place. She's like 68, like it was no big deal. I'm like 68, like I'm going to Antarctica, and I'm like, oh my god, that is so cool.
That is cool.
So, what's a favorite? You guys got a favorite place you've been?
I think recently I went to Malta. I mean, recently, it was like a year ago. But that was one of my favorites. It was my first trip with my friends.
Is Malta the same as Moldova?
I don't think so. Actually, I'm pretty sure.
Are you being polite? But it's not the same.
No, Malta's like a teeny dinky island in the Mediterranean. But yeah, I went with my friends. It was like our senior trip. It was my first trip with my friends. It was definitely memorable.
How is it traveling with friends versus family?
It's different. It's differently difficult, I mean, not that traveling is difficult, but, being with people 24/7 and someone's got to pick a restaurant and then all of a sudden tensions rise because someone picks a restaurant you don't like. I mean, it's different with friends, but I love it. I love traveling with friends.
So speaking of food, so there's a thing that I do that I feel like, I'm older and, grumpy and set in my ways, but I don't know all the languages here. The world's big with a million languages.
Yeah.
Not a million, right? Anyway, and when I go out to eat, sometimes there's not internet and there's not Google Translate to use, and the menu is only in the local language, whatever that is. So what I've decided, because mostly they wouldn't put it on the menu if it wasn't good. And so when I see a menu and I'm like, there's no internet, whatever, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to point and hope. I call it point and hope. And every time it's something good. Now, what we do, because, I have a spouse and we will, at least there's 2 of us that could get 2 different things. And one of us will get one thing and one will get another.
Yeah.
And that way, hopefully, if one doesn't like one a little bit or something.
Yeah.
But it's always something good, or it wouldn't be on the menu.
Yeah.
And as long as you're, maybe learn the words you don't like, that's like a good tip. If there's food, you're like, I don't like onions, so I had to learn the word for onions in a few languages and stuff. I'm not allergic, so I try not to be a jerk about it. You go, I'm gonna die if you give me onions, But anyway, what about you guys? Food.
Food's a great way to check to like discover new places, explore cultures, especially.
Definitely. Everybody has their own different spices and recipes for various foods. And when I go travel, the one thing I do is use TikTok. Use TikTok for food.
And like look for like reviews.
It's a whole like economy now. Yeah.
So I get on TikTok. I'm like, okay, what is the places around here that are good? People say they like to go to, and the scenery is very welcoming and warm and just fun.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a great resource actually for traveling. Social media.
Yeah.
Another resource, by the way, so we had to put our own plug in here, is we have the Garrison Outlook, and on there we have a section called Out and About, and we put mostly local, like Italy-based stuff, sometimes really local, like Vicenza, right outside the gate stuff, but there's quite often talks about sagras and places that you can go, but it's always about food. There's always something in there about food.
So sagras are a big part of the culture here, especially during the summer season. They're like festivals in little towns, and they're to raise money for the towns, and they have food, and every sagra has their own like specialty with their food. So you'll have like a sagra with cherries and a sagra with catfish, and there's a Tex-Mex sagra, which is a bit bizarre, but it's good. I've been there. But yeah, they're a great way to explore locally. Here.
So I'll start, but I've had some weird food in my travel. So I was in Munich once, and they had an Icelandic festival. They have it every year. Wherever Icelanders are in the world, they have a festival on like their Independence Day kind of thing. And the food they had on that one, they flew in from Iceland. They flew it from Germany to Iceland with a chef and everything. So I felt obligated to eat it. But the food included whale. And I love whales. I never would hurt one, but it was already on a plate, and I'm like, okay, and shark, which wasn't that good because the way they prepare it, it's like meant for old school fishermen to survive and not die,
Wow.
And then it was some part of a sheep that was not that fun. I won't even describe it for you guys to hear. But have you guys had some crazy stuff? Anything crazy you guys have had?
Yeah, I went down to Florence with friends, and we just went to picked this random restaurant, and we went in there, and I ordered, like you said, I didn't understand what was on the menu. I just picked something that looked good. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this, and I got it. They brought it back, took a bite of it, and it was good, until I found out what it was. That's when I was like, oh Lord, and it was horse, and I said, I'm eating what right now?
Yeah.
How'd you find out? Like,
I had asked the waiter. I was like telling my friend, like, hey, I don't even know what this is. He's just like, yeah, let me just ask. So he asked, and they was like, yeah, this is horse.
Cavallo.
Yeah. I'm like, thank you.
Well, the question is, did you finish it, and how was it?
Was it yummy?
It was great. I'm sorry to the horse, but it was great.
Yeah. I mean, it was already prepared, and you don't want him to go to waste,
waste
right?
it.
No, they had gravy on it. It was.
Yeah. Now that I know it, I wouldn't get it again either. Well, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't get it again.
I would not.
But because I like horses, but it tasted good, Maddie, you got any? You live in England for a while.
Yeah, I think the cold, like for me,
fish
food
and chips
is
all
like,
the time.
I really don't like English food. I know I live there, but it's so difficult going from Italy to England.
Yeah.
Like people will be like, why did you move here? You literally come from the country with the best food in the world. But yeah, I think it's just so bland and salty and heavy, and it's just not my vibe. But I'm into some stuff.
But as so we met these 7 different people this morning, and they'd actually been all over the place, and all of us are sometimes interested in trying new things, and sometimes we're like, no, I need the tried and true. Even in Scotland, I'm gonna confess, I didn't actually eat Scottish food. There wasn't that many Scottish restaurants.
Really?
There's like I ate something from Ghana, which was cool. We went to Indian. And then the last night we were kind of in a rush, and I had McDonald's.
Did you have haggis? Do you know what haggis is?
I did not have that. I know I totally would have ate it.
You have to have when you go to Scotland.
You need like a whole evening of haggis, though.
Yeah, it's like a breakfast thing, I think.
Oh my God, not breakfast. Whoa.
It's like, I think it's like
You're right.
pork intestine.
What?
I can't remember what it is. It's something odd.
He said it was ground up organs
Like chitlins?
in a casing of stomach lining or something.
It sounds like chitlins.
Yeah, really.
From the South, we eat chitlins.
I never had that.
Yeah.
I like barbecue.
What is it? What is
It's the pig intestines.
Yeah.
It'll be fried.
You see Scotland to South Carolina?
Maybe. There's some people.
There's a connection.
Wow. What about Italy? What places do you guys like here in Italy? Where have you been in Italy?
I like Regina's. Everybody knows about Regina's.
Oh, that's local here. Yeah, around the corner.
Regina's has great food. I love their pasta. They have oysters as well.
Really?
No, I'm sorry. It's clams.
Okay.
They're really good.
Some seafood. Yeah,
Yes.
Italy is a seafood type. Has a lot of seafood here. Yeah.
Yeah, Naples is great for seafood.
Yeah.
Naples, if you ever find yourself down, there's a Navy base there as well. But there's amazing seafood, all sorts of stuff, pasta and like even like shrimp and all of that. I love Naples.
Yeah.
It won't be like the shrimp from the States. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm sorry. You have to. It's like a different kind of like I go from my family's from Louisiana, so we have like po' boys, like shrimp po' boys, and the shrimp you get in Naples is you just have to pretend they're two different kinds of things.
Gotcha.
Because it's just a completely different.
There's an ingredient I see, and it's on a variety of things here, but I had it not that long ago, and it's burrata.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's like mozzarella di bufala.
Yeah. It's from Puglia. It's from
Oh
South.
my God, it's good. So if you see that, it comes in like a white ball, like, it looks like the mozzarella ball, but when you cut it, it kind of gradually like spreads out.
Yeah,
and the flavor is really good. And I get it on the pizza.
Yeah.
And it is my favorite.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, burrata.
Yeah, burrata. B-U-R-R-R something.
R-R-A. Yeah. As long as you can say it, that's all that matters.
So how do you guys, when you travel, so, what we're talking about here today, in case you haven't caught on, is traveling and how to get around, or why to travel, really, like the experiences that we've had, and the people we met this morning were telling us all kinds of cool stuff of places they've been, and a lady going to Antarctica, pretty soon to see penguins and stuff. Nice. But how do you, when you guys travel, this lady said she does like world cruises. Yeah, like crazy, like long distance. She's been on a cruise since September. So like 8 months now she's been on different cruises connecting different places. But are you guys flyers, trainers, cars, you hitchhike, what,
I'm whatever's cheapest, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Which sometimes is flights. If you get flights far enough in advance, you can get like a $20, €20, 20 pound, 20 whatever.
Do you pay extra to not sit in the middle seat?
I don't choose a seat.
Yeah, okay.
So, and that's that's the cheapest.
That's the way to go.
Sometimes you'll get like 2A, which is amazing. And then sometimes the trick is to check in like at the very last minute so that you get one of the best seats.
My wife, since you and my wife both know that trick, so maybe other people know now too. They're all gonna.
I don't want other people to know. Actually, don't do that.
Don't tell anyone. So what about you?
So I mean, like she said, it's whatever's the cheapest and whatever's the, like closest. Like I travel by car, travel by train using the app Omio. I travel by plane, but I usually travel by plane majority of the time to get to where I want to go.
Yeah.
Around Europe in general, and it's cheap.
I used to only drive, but then I got into obviously flying is just way more faster sometimes, and then I've done them all really, it's all a good time.
What's your favorite? What do you think's the most?
I like train, even though I love driving because I can stop anytime I want. But train, you get there a little slower, but you don't have to arrive 2-3 hours before the flight, and you can still pay a little extra for like first class or business or whatever they call it, and it's not that much more, and you're a little quieter, maybe a little better leather on the seat or something.
Yeah, trains are amazing in Europe.
Yeah.
There's like interrailing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know about that, but there's also like programs for students to travel all over Europe, and it's really easy to get around. It's so easy. It's insane how easy it is. Yeah.
In a couple minutes here, we're going to bring on Rick, and he's going to tell us about some local stuff because we're talking about more international with Europe and stuff. I didn't say my favorite country. My favorite is Lithuania because that's where I met my wife in a youth hostel. You guys ever
Was it
stay
in
in a
Lithuania?
hostel? In Lithuania, which you rarely meet someone from their country in their country at a hostel. Like a hostel is like with bunk beds, which is not normally that cool for older people. I wasn't as older then. And but we were both staying in like a 4-bed, like 2 bunk bed room, and she was traveling with a Japanese guy. I was traveling with a Japanese guy, and somehow we connected, and we got married a couple years later. But one hostel town, it was in Lithuania, and it was crazy. But that's my favorite now. I like to visit there, and hostels have been so much memories for me. I love meeting people. That's the best part. So Rick's joining us here now, so let me make sure Rick's mic is on. It looks like it is.
I have no hostile stories to tell you.
No, you never now it's not the horror film style either. It's like pretty fun. It can be crazy, but it can be fun. So
No, I just got to tell you, when I was a young soldier stationed in Europe years ago, it was just such a great pleasure to be able to get on public transit and really go all over Europe. And when you do this with a group of friends, they're the memories that you take for a lifetime.
Yeah. So you were telling me recently, as we're talking all this international stuff, there's stuff in our own backyard, right? We don't have to go that far.
You're 100% right. We always have friends and family that come over from the States, and they're like, the first thing they do is they get here and they're like, we have to go to Milan. We have to go to Florence because we have to go see a statue. And, so you're in the car and then you're standing in line and you saw the statue. And yes, you can tell everybody saw that statue for the rest of your life. But you might have missed out on some things that are just right here, and they're actually really cool. The trip I always take people on as soon as they get here is I take them to a little town called Arciero. So if you take the 831 highway north of Vicenza and you go to Arciero, there's a park there. It's called Contrapria Park.
How do you spell that? I don't, not to call you out, but for the people who are just going to put in their GPS, right? We'll put a link in description too.
Contra, like against, Contra, Pria, like Pria, and then park. And it's actually in Arciero is Arsero. B-R-I-O, whatever the case, it's the Ostico River.
A lot of words, I'm sorry.
You had to challenge me with spelling.
I didn't mean to do that, I'm sorry.
But you go to the Ostico River, and now this is one of these rivers that's fed by like snow, ice, coming from the Dolomites down into the Ostico River. So even in the summer, July, August, it's really hot, you want to cool off.
Yeah.
You head up there and the water is ice
freezing because it's direct from the mountains.
It is.
It's snow. It's melted snow.
And it's got like little rocks that you can jump off into the deeper parts for the bigger kids. And then for the younger kids, there's like a waiting area. It's kind of, safer, maybe up to your knees or ankles. You can go hit the Contrapria Park and cool off. And it's one of those things where you're in a river fed by the Dolomites, looking at the Dolomites.
So, one really important lesson learned, because I do a lot of silly things in my life. You can call them dumb. I went rafting once in Austria somewhere, and it was beautiful. And we were like working up a sweat. We're rafting and paddling. We get to the end, and I'm so thirsty. We were like sweating in the cold, mountain river, water. And I drank a little, and then I was like, "Oh, that was good." And I drank a little more. I was sick for a week. I promise you. The doctor let me off of work for a week. It was that bad. And everyone said a different animal had relieved themselves upstream. So don't drink the water. When you go to these beautiful places, don't drink the mountain water, even though it's cold and beautiful. It's not worth drinking. Don't do that.
The really nice thing about it is when you're done doing this, you cool off, and then they have these switchbacks that go up onto the Altopiano, the Asiago Plateau, and you find yourself up there, and then all of a sudden you go to a place called Fort Corbin. Fort Corbin is a World War I fort that the Italians built, and it's right on the drop-off. So when you go up there, you're actually overlooking where you were just swimming in the river down below. But there's got to be, several hundred meters in between you and where you were just swimming.
Wow.
Great views, a little bit of World War I history. There's a nice family up there that runs the park that the World War I history's at.
It's funny, you're talking about like hills, and all three of us here are mostly from very flat places, Florida, Louisiana, South Carolina. So hills are like pretty awesome. You guys like hills, right? Yeah.
Not to mention mountains.
Yeah.
Oh, and what's great is if you're looking for that stunning photo of like the Italian, pre-Dolomites, this is one of the few places where you can get that selfie because they're all behind you and the drop-off is right behind you. It's a great view. Awesome. And then you're actually on the plateau there, and if you guys don't know this, the free-roaming cows of Asiago make some of the best cheese in the world. Mm. And, we're not supposed to name towns or names or whatever, but there's a little community called Pennar. Pennar, and you go over there, and there's a Casafficcio, a cheese shop, and whether you like cheese or not, and I do, you go there and you say, I don't know what that cheese is, and they love handing you big hunks of cheese over the counter, and you get to try all of them, and then you buy some. Pro tip, make sure you vacuum pack it, because that stuff goes bad really quick.
Yeah.
You head down the switchbacks on the other side of the plateau, and you're in the lovely town of Bassano del Grappa. and it's right up the road here. And you know, if you don't, you guys you've had grappa?
Yes.
You've had grappa.
Yeah. No.
She hasn't. Maddie's like, no.
Yeah.
So grappa's kind of like the local moonshine, if you will, but they have a couple companies up there. And one of the nicest things that I like to do, it just screams Italy to me, is when you go to Nardini, which is right there on the Ponte Vecchio, the old bridge over the Brenta River. This bridge was originally designed by Andrea Palladio several hundred years ago. And you get this little drink called mezzo e mezzo. It's half and half, you know, and it's nice little spritz of drink. And everyone, the whole community, it seems, not just tourists, regular people, come out onto the Ponte Vecchio in the evening. That's the gathering place. And you're just among Italians. And you have this nice little drink. You kind of toast to the mountains. You can see the bullet holes on the buildings that they left from World War I as a reminder.
Wow.
A lot of nice shops and restaurants, birrerias with bruschetta right there near the bridge. Nice. Great way to end like a great day. You're swimming in a river. You're seeing a World War I fort, the Dolomites, eating cheese, you know, and then cap it off at the Ponte Vecchio in Bassano. Oh, and by the way, you're only like 20 minutes, half hour, depending on where you live, coming back down to Vicenza. And you had this great day right around here.
Yeah, so like living here, you have the opportunity to go all over Europe and other places. It's easier, but you also have so much to do here in Vicenza and like the outskirts. There's so much to explore.
Yeah,
So.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
So, Rick, thank you for coming in and telling us, you're reminding us that travel doesn't have to be far away. It can be pretty close by, and so much beautiful stuff in our own backyards here.
Thanks for having me on the Voices of Vicenza. I love it.
Yeah, and First Lieutenant Jada Gore from the 386 Movement Control Team. So shout out, you know, thanks for coming in today and giving us some South Carolina perspective and kind of junior soldier, junior officer, you know, thoughts on things, you know, how it works to travel as a you know, like solo traveler or whatever, with family too, that when they come. I have a friend visiting tonight actually, and her flight got delayed, got whatever, but our first thing was going to be Venice tomorrow, but I think it might be a little too late. She's arriving at like 10 tonight, so it's kind of asking a lot for us to jump right up tomorrow. Maddie, so thank you for what you're bringing today, you know, talking about the young perspective, and so. You know what? We talked about it today. We had an idea. Our next podcast topic, we're thinking something about beaches.
Yeah, there's a lot of local beaches. Italy's a peninsula, so it's surrounded by water.
So, well, I don't know how your beaches are in Louisiana, but South Carolina's got a few, Florida's got a few.
Yeah, I've been to Florida actually.
Yeah. So we'll talk about there's all different beaches. If you're not from one, or if you are, we'll talk about sand and water and where to go, when, and parking and all that fun stuff. So thank you guys for that. Check us out on the Garrison Outlook. It's army.mil/Italy, and especially check out the Out and About section. That's got all kinds of more local Italian type stuff, not just neighborhood things here, but like all of Italy. You know, the festivals, the foods, little parties and things to go to, and cool, unique stuff. So check all that out. Thanks for tuning in to Voices of Vicenza, and catch you next time.